You're welcome back. This is the Editors Forum. My name is Raymond Aqua, and today I've actually put together wonderful editors, one from the Herald, the other from the Business Week. Tomami here is a big-time editor. He's a financial guru. He's one of the few people that you can count on to do the very best of the financial analysis on everything that you ought to know in this republic for you. The other one is a man of many troubles, actually. He is very fearless about the things he writes and sometimes gets into trouble for it. Having though I've not seen you being charged with huge amount of money before, but my other guest is Larry Alans Dogbe. He's with the Herald newspaper. This week he said a father and a daughter had a wonderful conversation. You should be talking about that someday. But now we are jumping into a very important conversation on what's happening to our bauxite reserves. If you do recall, earlier this year and some few months ago, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana led the delegation to China. The intent behind the delegation was to leverage on our bauxite reserves to actually rope in almost 15 billion US dollars. We understand, according to Ashanti Regional Minister, that is being threatened. Plus, our fight against galamsey is also being threatened by the current mining lease and other permits granted a company belonging to the wife of former President Mahama's brother, Ibrahim Mahama. And if you don't know that, probably that's what put it into proper perspective. Because this company, within a matter of 48 hours, had most of the state institutions that probably gave a go-ahead, retrieving their go-ahead. So the green light was reversed into a red light at some point in time. When I'm talking about the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, and also the Minerals Commission itself. They all reviewed the licenses to a company which said that it is yet to even go into main mining of the bauxite. Now, I'll be telling you what Dr. Bawumia said, because that's going to tell you how important this bauxite is to us and what he actually told the people of this republic when he returned from that all-important trip that is supposed to get us 15 billion pretty soon. Well, so when I get that particular clip, I'll play it to you. But let me start a conversation here in the studio. I mean, Toma, when your vice president goes to make a huge promise that we'll be getting 15 billion and leverage bauxite, the understanding we would have is that the bauxite reserves are safe, they are untapped, they are untouched. But along the line, portions of that particular reserve were given to a company. And let's be clear, the company got its mining lease finally on the 29th of December, 2016. And the permit to enter the forest was given just 2 months ago. That is on June 20th, 2017. The company felt it had to go ahead to go and do its work until the Ashanti Regional Minister seized some equipment belonging to this company. I want to start from the beginning. How relevant is this bauxite to Ghana's economy, especially when the Vice President is promising that we get 15 billion from leveraging it to the Chinese?
That, I think, even what the Vice President has said shows just how important it is. But mind you, he claims that what we are going to use for the Chinese deal is what, about 5% of our total bauxite.
Yeah.
So I don't think what Exton Cubic is doing would really prevent that deal from going through.
The Ashanti Regional Minister disagrees with you. He says any attempt to go in there...
Raymond, why won't you allow him to?
Oh, yes, he will make the point, but I want you to be aware that a Minister of State disagrees with him.
What we need to ask, okay, what percentage...
Another minister disagrees with him too.
What percentage of Ghana's bauxite is Exton Cubic supposed to be mining?
Yeah. Actually, they are prospecting now.
If 5% is worth 15 billion in financing, then I don't think what one indigenous company will be mining will be up to 1%.
Okay, I'll come back to that. Okay. But let's listen to the Vice President so that we can put this particular conversation in context.
If this is the case, we need to find partners to develop this bauxite resource so that we can, but we want to develop it in Ghana. And that's why we want to set up a refinery in Ghana to refine it and be able to export. And if we do that, the proposed refinery is expected to generate close to $1.2 billion of aluminum at current prices and $3 billion for ingots.
So I mean, we'll give you a fuller tape later on, but I just wanted you to know the basis for this particular request and why the Ashanti Regional Minister is apprehensive about. Of course, he also said that he'll go against the fight against Galamsey because he doesn't believe that these people are there to do the right thing in the first place. Toba, we're talking about the relevance of the bauxite and why there's a tussle for it.
Yeah. Well, I want to believe that one issue about the tussle is the fact that it's in a forest reserve. There's a lot of bauxite we have in Ghana here, which is outside forest reserves. So I wonder why we are so, at this early stage, going into the bauxite that's in the forest reserve. Look at our gold. We've been mining gold now for 100 years, okay? Let's forget about the long history, but in terms of the modern day mining we've been doing, which was since about 1980 something, when the PNDC came up with the new mining laws and all that, all right? We didn't touch the gold which we believe to be inside those forest reserves until 2014,
Okay.
when Newmont opened this Achim mine, which is the only gold mining operation going on inside a forest reserve today. So I suppose that you could argue that there are issues about mining bauxite in a forest reserve when there's so much bauxite out there waiting to be mined, which is not inside a forest reserve. So that could be part of it. But at this stage, I'm being speculative. See, when these names come up, Ibrahim, Mahama versus...
And perhaps I'll ask you that question.
It smells that there's some, at least part of it is politics.
Okay, because first and foremost, the instruments that were taken, the devices and the machines that were seized, they belong to Ibrahim Ahmed's engineers and planners.
Yes.
They were working for a company that his wife is a shareholder of. That's without doubt. So that was established to be the case. Then people said, okay, now we understand why this has so much political relevance. But can we...
But another question of Gary was, giving those dates again about when those mining leases were
so
given.
First and foremost, it was 2013 that Prospective was telling. Mining lease was given December 29, 2016.
After the election results had come.
Yes. Then in June 20th, entry of the forest was also given from the Forestry Commission.
20 of which year?
This 2017. Okay. This year. It was given
under the present government.
The present government.
Okay.
It was given by the Forestry Commission.
Yes.
Okay.
Forest Commissioners under the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry. And they were given specific permit to enter the forest and go and continue this particular activity.
Is there something wrong with that?
No, I have no difficulties with that. I'm just asking. He asked me for the timelines again.
So what was the Forestry Commission saying now about the whole issue?
So what the CEO has said is that he only gave permit for them to enter the forest. And that they didn't do anything wrong. That they didn't give any impression that they had done anything wrong as of the time they were given the permit. So that is what they are saying. So when you look at all of this put together, there are two things that are coming out. Is there an attempt to...
What he should have said was this, that there had been an earlier permit that was granted.
Forest entry permit?
Exactly. There was an earlier, permit that was granted. And that is dated 28th October 2015. Do you understand?
To the same extent.
Exactly. So it is just a continuation of the process that began long ago. No, it wasn't very real. I could show you that document. Okay. But then it's a process that had begun long ago. Do you understand? Okay. But I'm just correcting that.
Which means that somebody is trying to give the impression that the previous government rushed the thing.
And even that December 29th thing. December 29th thing. Yes. There is nothing wrong with it. And like I said, it's a process that began. Listen, if the thing was granted, let's say, when did we have the election?
7 December.
7 December. If it was granted 8th December, or even 6th January 2017, then maybe you could say that somebody is rushing a certain process. But after how many days after the election before the thing was granted? 29th December.
No, but you see, when
exactly.
No, but
was the opposition then told, because the Transition Act insists that when they're taking some of these decisions, they ought to be put on notice.
What is the decision? The decision that a private company, an indigenous Ghanaian company, goes to say that, listen, we have discovered this thing. and that we needed to, we want to mine it. And then a certain process starts, okay? And the process, I mean, I have the document, I have a certain itemized document here.
Yeah.
That started way back, you have about 45 processes that went on. Due diligence upon this, bring this document, bring registration of this, bring you need what you call it, a certain license, an application for that, and so on. All those things were granted. Okay, now, and then came the point that you needed to do the community engagement, and that community engagement also happened. And mind you, do you know that the thing is not just in Nyinahini, the thing is actually in two districts.
Yes, actually 3 different areas.
Okay, you understand? And all these people have been engaged. The district chief executive now.
But the chief says they've not been engaged. The DC
I have seen the document. I can forward it.
The DC says they've not been engaged.
Let me tell you. Do you know the strange thing? The same DC was an assemblyman when this company did the engagement.
Did he sit in that meeting?
He was part of it. I have been shown a certain notice. I have it here. That he, the current district chief executive now, was the one who went pasting this in the community.
Well, Raymond,
in his capacity, in his capacity as the assemblyman.
But this does not show that he did actually.
I'm saying that
yes,
the Exton QB guys,
yes,
tells you
they are insisting that he's the one who put up this notice.
That he was the one who was engaged to be, pasting this thing in the public. So he, all along, he's been aware. They met them to an extent that at a point in time, even the community requested for an ambulance for their hospital. I have seen the ambulance. I have it. I have a picture of it.
Was the ambulance provided?
It's provided. It was part of the equipment that was, that was going to the site.
I wouldn't surprise.
And then also there was a generator. The generator is part of the.
Was the generator for the mining or for the people?
The generator is going to the hospital. The ambulance is also going to the hospital.
So the people in the area have actually confiscated or seized an ambulance for their own hospital.
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly.
But at no point in time did I ever hear.
You won't know, but I'm telling you this.
But there is no evidence covering this particular ambulance being seized.
Which evidence?
Because, for example, I have actually seen pictures of the excavators, of the other heavy, what do you call it, earth-moving equipment. But I've not seen any ambulance.
Let me show you the ambulance. Let me show. I just took a picture of the ambulance a while ago.
Oh, okay. That's,
yes, let me show it to you. And then you just put the. You can read the number, the registration number.
Okay. Once you retrieve that, there's a point I want to make about this, and the Minerals Commission has responded to this matter. So I can hear this.
This is ambulance. You can. That's it. You see
but I get the registration number. But there's no evidence that this is the same ambulance that's supposed to be going
no,
in the machine.
that is it. I'm telling you that I have spoken with the Exton Cubic guys.
Have you spoken to the other side to find out whether this is what they see?
The other guys, they've already been talking.
What does the Minerals Commission say?
The Minerals Commission is saying, and I can read to you, it says, please note that as per the terms of your mining lease, the following conditions have not been fulfilled. That 1, before an undertaking any activity or operation under this mining lease, the company shall obtain the necessary approval and permits as may be required by law from the Forestry Commission, Water Resources Commission, and the Environmental Protection Agency or any other regulatory body. 2, the validity of your forestry permit is strictly contingent upon your fulfillment of all the statutory regulations of the EPA, the Water Resources Commission, and the Inspectorate Division of the Minerals Commission pertaining to legitimate mining operations in the forest reserve, and this shall be non-negotiable. The third one says, the mining lease is subject to ratification by Parliament in accordance with Article 2681 of the Constitution of Ghana and Section 54 of Act 703. Upon the execution of this mining lease, the company shall submit a certified true copy of the mining lease to the minister to be laid in Parliament and ratified. You are therefore directed, listen, this is the directive, to stop any attempt of entering the concession to undertake any mining operation. And this is signed by Kweku Ada and Chibo Esiako, who is the Minerals Commission CEO currently.
He wrote the letter just a day, 24 hours after his appointment.
Why?
Oh yeah, because
24 hours after his appointment, Tony was removed. Within 24 hours, this guy had taken this decision.
Yes.
He wrote the letter. The letter is dated 23rd of August. Yes.
I'm saying, find out what Tony was.
He had just come
back. But why is there a problem with he acting in the first letter? What's the problem?
There's a problem because then, this document, you can read it to your listeners.
Okay, so let me. you just provided a document says Form Formula Regulation 61, Minerals Commission Inspector Division, Mining Exploration Operating Permit.
Okay. Okay.
And says license is hereby granted Augustus Agbelia Megashi of Exton Cubic Group Limited to prospect in the Achuma Mponya district within the area described in the endorsement hereby by the district coordinating director. And the conditions were given. 1. To prospect outside the district above is not permitted except by a further issuance of prospecting license. 2. The prospect outside the area described in the endorsement area is the same as in the same district may be permitted upon the cancellation of this endorsement and a new endorsement being made by the district coordinating director. Prospecting for columbite and all minerals containing beryllium, and beryllium is an element anyway, is prohibited.
At least it came from what?
Hold
on,
came from let me read the date of the time.
Yeah.
This license expires unless previously revoked on the 31st day of December 2016.
Okay.
It is dated on Accra this 21st day of June 2016.
Okay.
And it's from the Chief Inspector of Mines.
Okay. So
it's from the Minerals Commission.
Minerals Commission. Thank you.
Yes, but it has expired.
Read this one too, and note the date on this. This is written, what? I guess it's
an email anyway.
No, exactly.
Yes.
And it's signed by what? Jerry Ahaji.
Yes.
For CEO.
Yeah.
Read the content.
Minerals Commission. Okay, so let me give it a better scope. It's an email communication between from Gash G.A. Shaga Agbeli.
So that's Amegashi.
And the CJ of Minerals, CJACO Basa. I don't know what that means,
exactly.
but I can move on to what the subject
content,
is.
Yeah.
A subject says monitoring visit to development mines, Nyinahin Bauxite deposit, Exton Cubic Group. Dear Gash, as discussed on phone, the Minerals Commission will be visiting your mining development site at Nyinahin on Thursday, 24th of August 2017. But that is, hold on, yes. This visit will afford the Commission the opportunity to discuss ongoing efforts at developing the. Okay, so I'm sure I can project it in a way that the camera can see.
Yeah.
This visit will afford the Commission the opportunity to discuss ongoing efforts at developing Nyinahin Bauxite deposit. The team from the Commission is made up of the Director, the PPME, and the Assistant Manager of Policy Planning and Projects. Please acknowledge receipt and update us on your preparations for the visit. Kind regards. So this was written by the Assistant Manager for Sectorial Policy and Planning, Minerals Commission. And this was August 16th.
Yeah. Which
saying
year?
that they will visit them, 2017 anyway. They'll visit them on Thursday, 24th of August. But they say in their letter, which was written on the 23rd, but this is 16, they have changed their minds.
Ray.
No, hold on. What are you saying?
Raymond.
I'm saying that the people have changed their minds.
Raymond,
Yeah.
change of CEO means change of mind.
Yeah, they have changed their mind.
When you see procedures,
but
they are
making a very strong
They are,
case. Yeah.
okay, I get your point, Larry. I'm saying that they changed their minds and they said that you have not complied with all of the directives.
No,
the more reason why we have revoked your what they call entry into that particular area.
You see, I mean, how did the Newmont started? How did the Goldfield started?
So they do prospecting, they go through a long process here.
How did most of this big, conglomerates started? They started from somewhere.
Like
we need to build our own. Listen,
if you want to be charitable,
yes.
you want to be charitable.
Thomas,
this is not the way it should have
go.
gone. Even if, let's assume, I think, you see, what they are standing on certain documentation which had not been completed.
Yes.
All right. But when a company has invested so much into a project of this nature,
wanted generator,
and
there's
something
you wanted ambulance, they are buying you ambulance,
and there's something that is
left.
left,
That doesn't mean there's not follow the
and
law.
there's something that is left.
Yes.
You don't just turn around and throw the people out. You would give them time to at least not to sort out or go to the table and negotiate with them. I think there's something untoward here. There's something that goes beyond the pure documentation thing here. I smell a rat, so to say.
Okay.
You see,
I do.
But you see, does this have everything to do with the fact that this is Ibrahim Muhammad that's at play?
Well, you see, let me tell you, Ibrahim Mohammed's company was subcontracted. That's engineers and planners.
Okay, so his wife's company is
they were
Exton
going,
Group, right?
They were going to the site because of this letter, that roads. It's raining. Roads had to be cleared. People, had to be outside. So that when the guys,
so the Minerals Commission told them that they are coming.
Exactly. That is why they were moving. They want to work on the roads.
Okay.
Meanwhile, they had engaged. They had been in that community, and like I said, the people wanted an ambulance. They were given the ambulance was part of the trucks that were going.
You know how I'm looking at it right now. Now, what kind of message is this giving to other investors?
Exactly.
All right. what kind of message are you giving? That
But
what the message you
are
are
we
giving
not
is
acting the proverbial switch in this case? We all know how everything surrounding the man Ibrahim Mahama has been politicized and seen in, because he's a former president's brother.
Let me tell you, listen, Ibrahim started his company. Engineers and Planners will be what, 20 years this September.
Oh, okay.
Okay, long before then, I'm not sure President Mahama had even gone to Parliament. Do you understand? President Mahama had not even been to Parliament as at the time. So this is a young guy who is just trying to make a living, trying to build a company. Listen, you are Nigerian.
He's very charitable.
Yes, he's a young guy trying to. He's a rich man who's actually making
He has taken advantage of his chances.
Yes,
to politics.
You see, now you have you are a Nigerian.
Yes.
Okay. How did the Adano get started? How did the Dangotes, you know?
Hey, I don't want to go into that.
No, I'm saying that.
That was also politics. It was politics.
No, listen, but at least Nigeria is showcasing certain businessmen. Okay? In Ghana, how many of such people are we showcasing? Do we have even one? Even Abiola in his grave, he's been worshipped. True or false?
True.
Even if somebody has to push you, Thomas, whether a politician or a businessman, somebody has to push you together.
No, see, Larry does have a point here. But you see, this thing, you see, where it's difficult to debate is that it's a very murky area.
Maybe Vice President Baumia. Maybe Vice President Baumia.
Let me listen to Thomas first, then I'll come back to you.
Some people will argue that now Ibrahim is being hit by the other side of the sword from which he has benefited, you know.
How did Ibrahim benefit?
I mean,
no, ask us. How did he benefit?
Oh, Larry, please, let's not go into
it. Nobody is willing to accept the fact that there was no political connection in him getting the money list in the first place. Nobody is actually accepts that particular claim. That, I mean, it must have taken some political connection for him to do that thing.
Are we, are we acting on hearsay?
I'm trying to be beyond that. The issue is this. For me...
Yeah, possibilities in this
perspective.
You see, because it can connect it.
I understand that, the Americans have been there to prospect for this same boss. They couldn't do.
My issue is that the foreign investors we are going to need.
Hold on.
My issue is that the foreign investors we are going to need don't give a hoot about whether Ibrahim is the brother of the immediate past president. What they are concerned about is a private investor has put his money on the ground and is being booted out very unceremoniously.
So the sign sent out to investors is a bad one.
It's not a good one. It's not. Even though we here in Ghana, we look at it a bit differently. It's like, well,
because we understand the local politics.
Sword. You've benefited, now you're getting hit from the other side of the sword. So it becomes debatable. Depending on whether you have sympathy for him or not. You will sympathize with him or say, well, those that live by the gun die by the gun, those that live by the gun die, that kind of thing. All right? But the fact is that to the investor out there, they are not looking at the brother side of it. They insist on the rule of law. You understand? They insist that if proper procedure has been followed, you should not, somebody should not be booted out. And even if proper procedure has not exactly been followed, there must be some space for arbitration. There must be some space for appeal, which in this case has not happened. That's what I worry about. You see, from what Larry is showing us here, what it shows is that yes, maybe he fell short in one or two things about documentation, but there should be some space. There should be some space
that he did something wrong
for him to make his case.
What did you understand?
Rather than just throwing him out. So because the man has spent God knows how long putting his investment in place. You don't applicate that kind of investment in a matter of days. And the timing is suspicious because
seizing his equipment. I mean, Ibrahim's company is just as was subcontracted to do such a job, and you went seizing his equipment. Okay, the equipment was not at site digging, as the picture is being painted by the regional minister. The equipment were on their way there.
What I was saying,
when they were seized,
when the Lands and Natural Resources Minister said that, they had documentation, the regional minister said no way. He was waiting for them to present him copies. Physically, copies of this documentation before he releases this.
You see, I mean, I don't know who has become so powerful. Okay, who is the most powerful person to deal with here now? Because then the district chief executive is talking, said I did it. The regional minister comes in and said that listen, I did it, and that you know, I needed a document to you know, I want to assure myself of the document before I release you know, the equipment. Then, you know, the mines and forestry guy comes in, minister comes in and says that, listen, they have met every criteria. As far as he's concerned, he has seen documents.
At this stage.
Well, you see, there are a lot of allegations and counter-allegations. This is going to court according to Exton QB.
Yes, I've just seen
that is where
I was about raising the point.
That is where now we'll find out
so
what
the lawyer for Exton
QB
is saying that they are putting the Attorney General on notice that this particular conduct of yours does not fly in the face of the law, and that we are available to engage further. We are also exploring, as he says, the legal facilities available to us. And he says that the custody of these is costing us 61,605,000 cedis.
A day.
A day.
Yeah.
That's a huge amount of money.
It's a huge amount. And judgment debts are waiting.
Exactly.
Should the company...
Because what we are hearing right now, we are hearing politicians talking, making certain statements. We all know what the political class is capable of, all right? Even though, for now, we don't know whether they are lying or they're not, okay?
But are you interested in this
it's only in court that the truth will come out. But there are grounds for suspicion. I mean, the change of seat Admiral's Commission happening and, you know, immediately being followed up by this, for example, all right? The very fact that it is Ibrahim Mahama who is involved, you know, there are grounds for suspicion. So I think that this thing, we need to have patience.
Why suspicion? Suspicion
on the basis that he's being politically attacked.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. There are grounds. I mean, since Ibrahim, if it was me, for example, they would say, well, this is just another foreign investment.
We are acting on suspicion.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Anytime there's a change of government.
So that's why I'm saying that let us leave the thing. It's going to court.
Okay.
When it goes to court, when people are lying, they'll be lying at the risk of being cited for perjury. Okay. So I think people will be a bit more truthful.
Nanado talks about one district, one factory.
Yes, one of the districts was recently commissioned.
Okay, thank you. Yes. One district, one factory. I mean, are we going to wait for foreigners to come and build these factories for us?
Or the private sector.
Private sector.
Yeah.
But
the other side of the coin is that due process should be followed.
Exactly. And listen, I've shown you the documents. I've shown you certain things that processes had happened. And but even this letter, this email.
EPA, for example.
Yes.
No, what about
hold on.
EPA.
But the EPA come out boldly to say, for example, before the Minerals Commission came out, the EPA come out boldly to say that they have not secured the right permit to do what they are doing.
EPA.
Yes.
And then
without the EPA
the company,
government can't clamp down on you.
Yes. Then the company comes out and says that, listen, what the EPA is saying is totally flawed.
How?
But I mean, I didn't see any contrary documentation to show. Because, for example, if you say you don't have the document, I wanted to see them show me that this is the document that says that we have actually been permitted by the EPA to do this and that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was where the difficulty is.
The EPA
Environmental Protection Agency submission of environmental and social impact assessment report. Okay. Then this was written somewhere in March
2017.
Exactly. And then the guys never really.
You have enclosed the report. That is not an approval. You have applied for approval.
Okay. Then they followed up. They followed up with another letter. This wasn't responded to.
No, let's see the EPA's approval.
I'm coming. The guys wrote to you. They wrote the first letter somewhere in March.
Yes.
And then it wasn't replied to. And then a reminder was sent to them.
Yes.
On 18th July 2001.
Yes.
17.
Yes.
Again, I'm told that they hadn't replied this particular one. Why didn't you haven't replied to the letter?
Oh, Larry, let's not mix up two things.
Okay, so
one thing is the EPA is dragging his feet.
Yes.
It's another thing about
so then we should find out from the EPA. Why haven't you responded to this letter?
Exactly, fine.
So I'm sorry, why haven't they responded to this letter?
But the fact that they are dragging their feet does not mean that they have given an approval and that gives Exxon Cubic the right to go ahead and do it.
Okay, but you see, I have just Raymond, you just read this letter from Minerals Commission.
Yes.
Maybe So Minerals Commission was going to
Okay,
the
I think
site.
that's something that we should actually investigate.
They were
further,
going to
because
the
it makes
site
no sense
because
to me
of
when
this.
you write on the 16th, then on the 23rd you write again to say that, oh, you no longer have
No,
operation to
change
be
of
there.
leader means change of
What-
mind.
what-
That is what
I
Thomas
think
just
it's
put
very
you.
clear. Yeah, exactly. That's it.
You changed on your Obin. Maybe then we should interrogate the reason why Tony Obin was changed.
I get you.
There's political machination going on here. However, the EPA what I see that in his food dragging, EPA has opened the door for such political machinations to go on.
Exactly. You see,
You understand?
You do know the interesting
It's
thing that
politics,
happened.
it's a political attack, but the EPA has given legal grounds
You see,
for that political machination.
Let me show you something.
'Cause there's no
You
EPA
remember the deputy minister, I think Mr. Bill or something.
Yes, Benito Owusu-Bio,
Okay.
member of
He
parliament.
said that he granted an interview to a particular radio station and said that he was told that your minister had said that the company has met all the requirements, to go to the site and do the prospecting. Then he said, my minister said that, the company had met all the requirements, but meeting all the requirements doesn't mean you had fulfilled all the obligations.
I'm confused.
Exactly, you'll be confused.
All right.
Then he said, requirements and having all the documentation doesn't mean that you had met all the, you had fulfilled all the requirements. So you write an exam, somebody grants you a certificate.
That's confusing to
It's
me.
confusing.
But
he shouldn't have even spoken in the first place.
Yeah,
Anyway,
because the thing was, you are showing disrespect towards your minister.
what I want to
However,
do...
there's no EPA permit yet. That's what I'm saying. I think,
And they are
and I
dragging
agree that Larry, the EPA has been foot dragging. It might be part of the same political plot.
Yeah.
But the fact is that documentation is documentation.
All right, so
If
I
you
get
don't
your
have
point.
it,
In
you
the
can't
course of the
mine.
week, we will know what happens to this particular issue.
No,
But-
I think that Vice President Baumia, you see, I think the ministers are acting, on the premise that Vice President Baumia had gone to China to go and negotiate for a thing like this, that, the Chinese are going to come. Listen, if your Ghanaian guys are here and they have the expertise, engage them, find out from them, Thomas, what can you do with this particular thing? And where can you and the Chinese partner?
I don't think it's the Chinese thing. Because
No, that's the Chinese. They are acting because of the
President
Chinese.
Bawumia is talking about is 5% of our bauxite.
Okay, so they
I
can
don't
look
think it's the
elsewhere.
5% inside the mine. Inside
So they
the-
can
The
look
minister
elsewhere.
made the
Yes,
same.
of course.
The minister made the
Why
same
are they-
point. The minister made the same point, but they're not talking about the same concessions.
Which minister?
But the minister, Lands and Natural Resources
Yes.
Minister, he made the same point. That we're not talking about the same concessions. What the vice president referred to was a different area compared to what is being done by.
Where is this one? Which
So where-
region is
yeah.
this?
This is the same Nyinahin.
Nyinahin.
But you see, the areas we are looking at, there are 3 different areas the vice president mentioned. The Nyinahin area itself.
But is the
we are
government
talking about
listening? Is Nanado listening
to
to all this, all this noise? Is ministers fighting that, the disrespect being shown and so on?
All right.
And meanwhile, the people who said they needed, ambulance. I'm saying that I've seen the ambulance with my naked eyes. I've seen
this
pictures of the
ambulance, you have
generator.
to show
too.
me evidence that
Okay, anytime you want to see the ambulance, I'll
the
take you there.
ambulance is connected to the.
It's connected to it. They were part
Unless
of the
I have
tracks.
evidence
I'm
to
coming.
actually support
What me
that.
I'm
No,
saying is
why
that
you don't
there's
believe me
EPA
anymore?
I
permit.
believe you, but
What
I
I'm
just
saying
want
is
to
that if there's no EPA permit, government has the right.
Okay.
And I'm saying that,
further.
Exton
All right,
Cubic
so I think this
wrote
point
to
have
the
been made.
same agency.
But EPA has been dragging his feet.
And so
Okay.
you don't come and accuse the guy of not meeting a certain requirement. Because then they want a meeting with you.
Well, EPA could always tell you that they are still assessing.
Then the Minerals Commission, the same Minerals Commission through its
Yeah, but
officer.
they have changed their mind.
Eh?
They wanted to visit
Jerry
now, they're not
Haji
visiting you again.
saying
They are
that
not
we are
fulfilling
coming
the
to
rules.
visit you.
Environmental impact report has to be assessed.
Exactly.
Okay.
But
EPA can tell you they're still assessing it.
Anyway, okay, so finally,
Yeah, they can tell you that.
no, you see, the politics is destroying this country.
I know. I
Anytime
understand,
serious
I understand.
issues
Yes,
come
I
up,
agree.
I get you.
anytime
Yes.
serious issues come up,
Yes.
people are hungry.
Yes.
People don't have jobs. Listen, yesterday's program, I'm sure we will get to the
we are getting to that point because you're actually pushing me
people
there.
need jobs.
I'm going to tell you what the
People
government is
need
doing.
jobs. And
But
then,
you see that they have
do you
done
know what the best thing that
viable
Nana
factors.
Akufo-Addo can do to this country is that, listen, I want the politics to go down and that let the people emerge, let the private sector develop. That is what can change. And he could just, listen, I want to meet the directors of Exton Cubic. I want to meet Ibrahim Mahama. Let's say, Ibrahim, they should release your equipment to you. Exton, let's see your expertise. How can you guys do this job that will bring money, that will employ people? How many people are you going to employ from Nyinahini? The people are hungry. You think that if the guys had job to do, the youth had job to
When
do?
we were off air, I will make a comment about that suggestion you have just made to the president.
If
And
I'm coming.
Why he dare not do it?
Oh,
No.
I'll tell you about that later on.
You see, if the youth,
I'm telling you
I'm
what.
coming.
dangerous
If
way
the
to
youth,
do. Yes.
if the youth had jobs to do, I'm not sure the district chief executive, who had been an assemblyman and had been part of all this negotiation, would have organized them to go and stop the, the tracks from getting to the site. If they had jobs.
I get your point,
they had jobs.
And I'm sure in the course of the week, we'll see how this issue also pans out. But
if those jobs are good enough,
you don't want me to move on now.
The TV stations will get adverts, the radio stations will get adverts, and the newspapers will also get adverts. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Are you lacking adverts now?
Yes, I mean, a lot is happening. I'll tell you later.
Anyway, we'll move on this particular conversation, and we have to move into the direction.
I'll tell you later.
President Akufo-Addo spoke, and the MPP converged for his 25th conference. Conference mostly deliberates on the future and the status of the party as of, and we had various reports being delivered on the state of the party. They were supposed to look at some recommendations, and because they put it on hold, I don't think we can dwell on the recommendations so far, but let's look at some of the things that were said there. Yes, they put the recommendations on hold. Some of the recommendations were that the MPs actually are saying that they want an amendment to article which are proposing something that suggests the constituent executive shall be appointed by the parliamentary candidate upon its election. That's what they wanted. The MP or parliamentary candidate shall appoint all other polling station executives to upon its election. The parliamentary candidate shall also become the leader of the party in the constituency, even when he loses the elections till the next primaries, when a parliamentary candidate is elected. All of these are issues that they are considering. They put it on hold because of people did not have copies of the things they were supposed to make decisions on. So in 2 months' time, they'll go for an emergency conference to deliberate on these important issues. Now, let's look at who said what. President Akufo-Addo said that he will grow the economy to 9% in 2018. That was a point he made there. He also said that he's actually going to religiously fulfill all major campaign promises he made in the heat of the 2016 election. Mind you, prior to this particular event, the party had converged, government had converged at Ekumfi to go and start the one district, one factory project with a pineapple factory, which became controversial for the source of the pineapple factory to be identified. But that is not the crux of the point. So that's what the president says so far. Now, 2 things I want us to dwell on. Generally, how the event went, if you had the chance to watch or even listen to parts of it. And finally, growing the economy by 9% coming here and fulfilling all promises. Thomas, how do you think it's going to go?
9% next year.
The first quarter, mind you, we did 6.6%, mostly on the back of oil. Yes. You also know that World Bank projections are that we'll be going higher this year and the coming years.
Yes. I think the 9% he's looking at, well, you see, the key factor about whether he can do it or not is this, okay? The gas from the Sankofa field, okay, is supposed to start from February next year. Okay. The gas from the Sankofa field is supposed to start from February next year. Now, when you look at the spikes in our growth rates in recent years, it's all been based on the oil and gas sector. 14.4% in 2011 was based on the commencement of production from Jubilee. The 6.6% we achieved first quarter this year was basically oil driven from the 10 fields.
The MPC report indicated that.
Exactly. The non-oil growth was very lower even than the previous
lower
year.
Than the previous year. So.
Now, if the president tells he's going to grow 9% in 2018,
next year,
then it is because he's looking at the possibly likely effects of the commencement of gas from the Sankofa field. Now, the Sankofa field is peculiar in terms of the fact it's the first field we have which is primarily gas, not oil. It's a case of gas and associated oil as different from oil and associated gas. And remember that in the case of crude oil, is the growth it generates is just based on the investment that goes into the infrastructure and the money we make from the exports. In the case of Sankofa gas, it's going to go into power production. So I think he's calculating that it will bring a sharp spike in economic growth.
How about non-oil?
When it commences.
How about non-oil?
Now that is the issue. The issue is what will happen to the growth rate in non-oil.
Yeah.
You notice he didn't mention anything about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not particularly enthusiastic
but end
about
of year,
the
we're
immediate
expecting that some of these
fortunes.
factories will come on board.
Yes.
If the factory starts, we are getting, let's say, industry and manufacturing probably getting a boost some way somehow. Is that
End of year.
Yes, we're saying they are telling us that about 51 of the factories will be available by end of year.
How many?
Oh, we've not heard.
Yes, it's true. No, it's true. That's the
one government has said, "Are you?" I have not heard that yet.
Well, I've been closely
Please,
involved
I'm
in this
hearing you,
one
Thomas.
district, one factory thing, and you see, it's a very, very good concept. It's workable. But please do take note that the one factory which has been done so far has basically been government sponsored. When the private sector starts actualizing the commitments we've been hearing they have been making every day, then I will believe that the things are accelerating. Having said that, please, why Larry is laughing, I'm not saying it will not work. I think it will.
No, it should work.
But I've not come to you yet.
No, it should work.
It's a matter of the timing. You know, I think that, I mean, look, if I was an investor coming to Ghana, for example, and I'm seeing interest rates and inflation dropping, okay. I'm seeing the fiscal deficit being brought under control. You know what I'll do? I'll wait one more year and
to see whether it will be sustained.
To see whether it will be sustained or if possible improved.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So I think that yes, we'll get the private sector participation we need. It will significantly increase economic growth, but we shouldn't expect so much so soon.
Okay.
All right. We shouldn't expect so much so soon. And indeed, my worry about this government, my biggest worry about the Akufo-Addo government is that in their vim to fulfill election promises, they will try to do too much too quickly.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Crash.
Because I believe that what matters first is fiscal consolidation. All right. But what does
But are they on that path?
They are. Oh yes,
yeah.
They are.
Yeah, okay.
They are. And you see, what's understandable about these guys is that they're quite smart. They did a budget in 2017, and I said it at the time that this budget is a budget for public consumption. That they have a real budget under the table.
Oh, there's a real budget.
Under the
no,
table.
but
That is the budget.
The mid-year they didn't review it.
It's being reviewed at the mid-year review.
Hold on.
That is the budget being reviewed at the mid-year review.
Okay.
Where spending is much less than they claimed it would be.
Yeah, but they said because they did not get enough revenue, why would you spend when the revenue?
Of course, they knew they were not going to get the revenue. You think they went? You think government believed the revenue figures they touted in the 2017
You don't think
budget?
they didn't?
Common Keno Foriata, Dr. Baumia.
No.
Oh, please. They knew they were not going to get it, but they had come in and they wanted to create goodwill. They wanted to create confidence, so they did what we call what they said the Asempa, the good news budget. Yeah. All right, to try and engender confidence, knowing that what is on the ground is much. I think I was talking with, was it you I was talking with yesterday? I was saying that, look, you see, let us, maybe I'm diverting a bit here, but please, for the avoidance of doubt.
Very briefly, yeah.
For the avoidance of doubt, all right. The Ghanaian economy the problems cannot be solved by any quick fix. The people who are in power right now know it. They have not told you that because they felt that the way to win power was to promise you a quick fix.
Yeah.
They know there is going to be a long haul. The economy has been taken into a dark place that's going to take quite some time to come out of. Of course, they have to tell you, I mean, if they had campaigned on the basis that, look, the previous government has taken us into a dark place and it's going to take a long time to come out, would you have voted for them? No, he said, look, the guys have taken us to a bad place, but we can bring you out quickly. And they know it. So what they are doing is they're giving you one budget for public consumption and one budget based on the realities. The outturn is the realities which they are aware of. So when they talk about this, they say, yes, the 9% for next year is possible gas. Ask the president what his non-oil growth expectations.
So the devil is in the detail on that particular one.
Exactly.
All right. So I'll come back to you, but let me hear your thoughts, Gary, on what Larry, on this particular point. The former president, said Akufo-Addo government is not cassava to mature in 6 months. Asking for more time. Yes, but that's right. I mean, his comment. But the president himself says he will fulfill all his promises. He also says that he's the captain of the boat and nobody will capsize that particular boat. The NDC's deputy general.
I think that it's reference to Kennedy Ejibon.
How? Okay, I'll come back to your thoughts on that. But Koko Anyido, who is the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, has also been saying that they want peace and will demand it.
Yeah.
They should stop the activities of these groups, the Invisible and the Delta Forces. Now, which one would you want to start with, Koko Anyido?
Okay, I'll start with Koko Anyido.
Okay, let's start with that.
I think that Koko Anyido was just talking about the, he mentioned tension in the country.
Yes, he mentioned there's so much tension.
Yeah, so much tension in the country, and that the.
Do you feel the tension?
I think so. I think so, and I'm not the only person. You wake up today, and then Flagstaff House, an official of Flagstaff House, is being attacked. You wake up the next day, National Security Officer in Kumasi is being attacked, and then when that thing is being sorted out, the people, agents of those guys, move into the courtroom, threatening a judge and other things, and then the whole place becomes rowdy and so on. They move from there to Tema, where a public event is being held, and these guys, well-built macho men, come there, and they are threatening mayhem on people. Obviously, you will be scared. And they tell you that, listen, if you promise us jobs, you promise us this, you promise us that, you promise us that, and that you haven't fulfilled that. When we call you, you don't even pick up calls. And now listen, if this continues, we are going to show you where power lies. They said all that. The video, you guys played them. Okay? Now, you move from there to which one? Where Nana said he's the captain of the boat.
Yes.
And that, nobody...
He would not allow anybody to capsize that.
Okay. But I think that, he was... Somebody told me that he was addressing Kennedy Japan.
I see.
That is how come Kennedy Japan wasn't allowed to speak at the, at the two events. The rally.
Was he bailed to speak?
Yes, I hear, Kennedy and the Central Region, Kennedy is so big in Central Region. He's big, and he has even acted as regional chairman before, I think 2012.
No, regional chairman?
Regional campaign coordinator. Okay. He's played that role several times, so he's known. But in recent times, I'm sure he's known in their good books because maybe he's not speaking the politically correct language and so on. So then they won't allow him to talk. So both, and I hear he's not happy about that.
Okay.
Beyond that, then Nana talked about the one district, one factory.
Yes.
And so on. See, Nana just commissioned the pineapple factory.
Ekofi.
I hear clearly news report shows that same thing was commissioned. Sorry, the sort for that thing was cut somewhere in 2013 by Dr. Samuel Sample.
Who was the regional minister.
Exactly. And I don't know how different...
But it was not under one district, one factory.
It was... okay, so now...
Yes. I'm running out of time, but are you okay with your comments on this matter?
So then you have the you better thank God. And this you should thank them. They started comment down before the election.
Change the name. So name changes all over the place.
The directive principle of state policy says, as far as practicable, you should continue what the previous government did. And what is wrong with doing that?
And you change the name as and when you go along.
Well, we had SADA change to now NDF.
But please.
And then the youth employment change.
Yes, it was first program. Let us stick to the ones that were started under that program.
Under the program.
But this okay, so then the fact remains that there was no pineapple factory existing. There were plans to do that, but it was not factory existing.
Exton was cut. The people, we should have you guys. The
farmers were actually growing stuff. You know that.
Is there?
The farmers were growing
based on the earlier.
Based on the factory.
Yes.
Okay. So
in 2013.
Yes, but source account in this country every time. We don't see the projects being brought to life until it happens finally. So the end justifies the means in this case. Ultimately, what do you say?
This one is difficult.
Actually, the end counts the work.
Okay. Okay. Let's just say it shows that Ghana is getting more into continuity.
Yes, as the constitution mandates.
So you have a pineapple factory being built. Let's say, okay, one district, one factory. Meanwhile, then the sugar factory commander is, rusting away. Can we?
And who is to blame for that?
Who is to blame?
Yes.
Why? I'm the managers of the state.
They want district one factory secretariat because
they have to take that.
It's not part of the plans that they have actually put together.
But the Asempa budget thing.
Yes.
I think that, the Asempa budget promised a lot. you know, made a lot of promises to the traders.
Yeah.
You know, Kwame Nkrumah Circle, Okaeshi, you know, Agbogloshi,
But they have reduced taxes.
and many other places and so on. Yes. They have reduced. Okay, so
yes,
we should, thank you. Then we should go to these places and find out, including the spare parts dealers, whether or not the Sempa budget is actually, you know, how it has affected their lives and so on. Okay. And then the one, the free SHS thing.
Yeah, September.
September.
Dr. Bama mentioned it.
I don't know, which secondary school did you go to?
Presbyterian Boys School.
Presec.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. You were in a boarding house?
Yes, I was.
Okay. I went to Bishop Herman.
I see.
And I was also in sorry, I was in the boarding house as well.
Yeah.
No, it looked so, you know, beautiful that vacation is over and all you do is to pick your bag and wave your mother, Mom, I'm going to school. Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
Based on what we are being told here.
Yes. What is your problem with that? The way I say, isn't it beautiful?
No,
I
it's so
suspect you have a
beautiful.
problem with that.
No, it's so beautiful, too beautiful to be believed.
In 3 weeks' time, free SHS is going to start. What is your problem with that?
I'm saying that it's so beautiful to be believed. In any case, I have a daughter who is, you know, going to the secondary school.
I see.
I mean, I'll be happy to see her, you know, just wave me and say that, you know, Daddy, I'm going.
To give pocket money and things.
No.
I want to give them pocket money.
She's even going to get free food.
But you know that that's
free
has
that,
always,
free that, free this.
Regardless of how much you pay the school fees, you also give your child some other things to go to school.
No, I'm saying that the picture
Guys, have you guys stopped to consider one thing? Who gets into senior high school?
Yeah.
What category? What category of
so
society get into high school? The farmer who is in a village 50 kilometers from where his kids don't get into police because they can't pass the basic secondary school exam because they've gone to school on that tree for 3 years. The ones who get into to qualify for senior high school, the ones that went to Jack and Jill and this and that and that. This senior, I'm sorry, but I believe that senior high school is just another thing that's going to end up subsidizing the rich like petroleum subsidies.
Oh, okay.
I think that money going into senior high school should be spent on improving the public schools at the junior high school level so that everybody has the level playing field. And when you get in, you can identify. Then when you get in, you can identify those kids who are going to got admission into senior high school because now they went to a decent public junior high school, but their parents can't afford the senior high school, and you give them scholarships and you single them out. If now you see senior high school, and now I have a kid going into senior high school, and you say government is going to pay. What are you that? Thomas, hey man, government says you can drink more Guinness, smoke more cigarettes, because we are taking care of some of your bills for you.
Okay,
it's so beautiful, Raymond.
Really?
Just pick your bag and wave your parents goodbye.
I see.
Maybe the pocket money you get is for transportation.
Maybe when the implementation starts, we
if you live in Medina like I do, you just pick a taxi or you call a taxi and say that, listen, okay, go and drop my daughter in school for me. And how much is it? So 20 Ghana cedis. Take the money and then go and drop
but
it.
Remember, having
I'll
said
come
that,
and visit you in 2 weeks.
The decision has been made, so my argument is now moot.
The point is that
my concern now is the cost to the national
400 million for a term.
That's at the beginning. That's
at the beginning.
Now you are starting class by class. 3 years from now, you have 3 sets of students.
Exactly. Free.
Right?
You
have 3 sets of students. And with senior high school, we did free. More people, there will be higher demand for places in the senior high schools. And because of the running costs, there will be less money for expanding infrastructure. And I kind of worry. I worry about it because what's going to happen is that just like in all successive governments, now we are borrowing long term. What will happen is that governments will keep borrowing to keep the thing going, and they will just borrow long term, just keep doing Eurobonds, and payment becomes somebody else's problem 10 years down the line.
We are hanging ourselves.
And we don't get, and as you do that,
and so far as they are not the ones who will be in office at that time, anyway,
nobody cares. It's not your problem. Then interest payments keep going. Don't forget, you know that for every 1 cedi we spend on roads or schools right now, we are spending 3 cedis on interest payments on our public debt. 3 cedis on interest for every 1 cedi we spend on roads and hospitals and schools. And when now you introduce this, it's going to get, it will tend to get worse, all right? All this idea of bringing down the public debt from 71% to those are all election promises that will not really be kept, because the best any government can do within an 8-year span, with the kind of debt we have now is bring it down maybe about 6 percentage points of GDP. Okay. I mean, let's assume the Akufo-Addo government stays in power, and they bring it down from, say, now it's about, they say it's 68, 69. That's
Yeah.
because we are using GDP projections for the end of the year.
Yeah.
If we use real figures, it's still about 70.
Yeah.
And the best they can do in a 2-year session, you mark my words, 8 years and the best we can do is bring it down to 60. And I even doubt we are going to do that.
Well, I
You
think
don't want me to say something.
let's say final words from you both, and we can actually round up. I've been told that we are not out of time. Yes.
Okay. You
With
see,
Larry first.
oh no, we haven't touched on Togo.
Finally, can add it to your Togo comments.
Okay. I think that Akufo-Addo, the MPP in opposition overpromised.
Okay.
Yes, they raised people's
But I
hopes.
say he'll fulfill all.
Well, it's one thing, the marriage, the marriage is different from courtship.
I see. And I can see your band on, so I see.
Yes,
I
the
see you're
marriage
doing
is
very
different
well
from
in that.
courtship. I mean, what you tell the girl when you want to marry her is different from, the reality when she enters your room.
Oh, okay.
Do you understand? So, I mean, they need to manage people's hopes now. There's a need to manage it. You overpromised, you won the election. I mean, it's time that you pipe down. You are the choir conductor. Just bring the tempo down. It's still promising. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. At the end of the day, then you leave the people in abeyance. And when you do that, frustration sets in. When frustration sets in, only God knows where it's going. Do you understand?
Well,
Now,
Togo,
having said-
final words.
you said
Okay, Togo. Yes, Togo. 30 seconds.
Togo, I think that we've been here several times. And the people, the government, keeps managing it by various means and so on and so forth. But with what is happening now, I think it's gone beyond management.
So my final words.
My final words are this. I think when it comes to fulfilling the promises, I think that there's a possibility that we'll have a real private sector partnership boom for government, which this government can fulfill a lot of those promises. All right, but we must achieve fiscal consolidation first. If not, we will not have the right environment for the private sector to invest. So government should go slowly.
Okay.
They should
What?
go
So
slowly.
hasten slow is the final words from Thomas there. And on that particular note, we end today's edition of the Editors Forum. My name is Raymond Alqua. My guest, Thomas Mihead, is actually from the Business Week, and also from the Herald is the all-powerful Larry Alasdogbe. And on that note, thank you so much for being with us on today's edition.